A war on drugs in South Korea. The death of a celebrity highlight an insistence on total abstinence. 우리나라 마약과의 전쟁, 이번에 일성균 씨 죽은 것과 관련된 기사인데 Lee Sung-kyun, the Parasite actor who was found dead on Wednesday, was far from the only celebrity entangled in South Korea's latest anti-drug crackdown. Yoo Ah-in, the actor known for his roles in the 2018 film Burning and the 2021 Netflix series Hellbound, is facing trial after testing positive for propofol, marijuana, ketamine, and cocaine, officials said. Several South Korean retailers have cut ties with the actor since the drug accusation became public. He is no longer listed as a cast member for the second season of Hellbound. G-Dragon, the rapper and former member of the K-pop boy group The Big Bang, had been under investigation for possible drug use until the police dropped the case in December after he tested negative on several drug tests. Nevertheless, the BMW Korea removed the images of him from its online advertisement. The recent accusation against high-profile entertainers here have highlighted the continuation of a strict anti-drug policy and attitudes in South Korea that have drawn a hard line against anything other than total abstinence from drug use. Some officials hailed that toughness as critical to keeping drug use under control, but the policies have also come under criticism from treatment experts who say that the authorities focus too much on punishment rather than rehabilitation. When you look at data and you look at the harsh penalties that have been in place for decades now, they haven't worked, said Gloria Lai, a regional director for the International Drug Policy Consortium, an organization that promoted evidence-based drug policies around the world, and the cost on people's lives is huge. Since Mr. Lee's death, the police in Incheon, a city west of Seoul, who had questioned him on suspicion of using marijuana and the ketamine, have been criticized for their treatment of Mr. Lee during the investigation, saying it was disproportionate to the severity of the allegation against him. Sung-chul Park, Mr. Lee's lawyer, denied the drug charges and accused the police of violating rules about the public release of information. He said Mr. Lee had tested negative in multiple drug tests. Mr. Park added that the police had intensively investigated the allegation that Mr. Lee had used drugs but did not take seriously enough his assertion that he had been the target of blackmail. The process was insulting and humiliating to him, even though there was no evidence that he had taken drugs. Mr. Park said in a telephone interview, "While it's true that drug investigations are necessary, It's a problem when they go too far and don't follow procedure and protocols. Kim, the Incheon police chief, defended the investigation at a news conference on Thursday. He said that his agency had performed properly and legally based on specific informant statement and evidence. South Korea's top stance on drugs is in line with that of some other countries in Asia. A drug conviction can carry the death penalty in China and Singapore. Japan and Taiwan, too, have maintained minimal tolerance for drug use. Governments in Japan and Singapore have publicly spoken out against a strategy called harm reduction that has become more prominent in Western nations, Ms. Lai said. A harm reduction approach is controversial, she said, because you basically saying that even if someone continues to use drugs, you think that they still deserve to be treated with care and with access to health service. South Korea stands apart from countries like the United States, Canada, and some in Europe, which approach drug as a public health matter rather than simply a criminal one. Still, South Korea's drug policies, combined with its geographic isolation, have helped keep drug use low, experts say. But reports of trafficking and use have surged in the past few years, though experts say it is difficult to obtain accurate data on drugs in South Korea because of stigma and the fear of imprisonment. Drug-related arrests, including for its consumption and sale, rose to more than 17,000 in 2023 from about 10,400 in 2019, according to official data. Among them, teens were the age group with the largest growth, jumping sixfold to 1,000 arrests from 160. It is unclear whether that increase in arrests represents an actual spike in drug use or whether intensified enforcement is playing an outsized role. President Yoon and officials in his politically conservative government declared a war on drugs after taking office in 2022, warning that drugs were becoming more accessible nationwide. Celebrities have also led Just Say No campaign on social media. Some talk shows have dedicated entire episodes to anti-drug programming. The country's latest crackdown and the rhetoric of Mr. Yoon and officials in his administration have echoed the war on drugs of the 1970s and the 80s in the United States, said that H., a professor of the Boston University School of Social Work. Cracking down with these harsh punishment and unreasonably long years of imprisonment is not going to be effective in reducing drug use and overdose deaths, Professor H. said, and we know that from the history of the U.S. South Koreans can even be prosecuted upon returning home for using drugs outside the country. Once convicted of using illicit drugs, a person can be required to complete a mandatory education program run by the Justice Ministry or be imprisoned, said Yoon, a drug policy expert at Seogang University in Seoul. A prison sentence can range from 6 months to 4 years, depending on the type of drug. For trafficking, the sentence can up to 14 years. Drug treatment experts say that the country's approach is too narrowly focused on punishment. The mandatory education program that offenders take is not individualized enough to each person's needs and does not provide a sustainable plan to overcome addiction. Ms. Yoon said while the government has called for more rehab clinics for drug users, they remain far fewer than those for alcoholics. In our country, drug rehabilitation is less often viewed as an effort to overcome addiction than as a penalty, Ms. Yoon said. People's mindset are focused strictly on punishment. But public policy experts warned that approaching drug use only in a punitive way falls short at curbing drug use, addiction, and overdose deaths.